Hello guys, so the second quarter of the year has ended. By the end of quarter one, I did for you a summary and I showed you how I gained about 14%. All of it was documented on YouTube in the first 3 months of the year. I did the same thing for the second quarter. If you follow up, you'll find a few trade breakdowns that I used to document here. I've also documented my prop farm journey and showed you more accounts that I've passed, some of them into funding, some of them I'm in phase 2 currently. I've documented my journey with payouts. Currently, I've done 3 payouts on funded next within the last about 1.5 months, totaling to just about $5,000. So as usual, the stats that I'm showing you are things that you can go back in time and you can confirm in the market that these are real setups that I took, and for most of them I even documented them on YouTube. And currently on funded next, I passed another account. If I take you to my account here, you will see by the end of the first quarter I had only passed one challenge, but right now you see I've added 1, 2, 3, 2 of them being phase 1, another one being phase 2, meaning extra funding. And part of what I used to share whenever I was doing my breakdowns, I'm just saying this because I might not go into the details of the trades, but if you can go back into my breakdowns of my challenges, I used to show the account statement, which is here, and you can see all the trades that I was taking. I just thought it's important to showcase that these are results that anyone can verify. Now that being said, in the same quarter we had about 4 members in our community who were able to pass their challenges, which is even better because at least I can see those guys who are following my trading system having similar results. So we have one here, we did have another account here, and we do have 2 more somewhere in the chart if I scroll. So feel free to join our trading community to follow up with our weekly breakdowns, and most importantly, you get a chance to learn from my exact proven model. I think the best way to summarize the benefit of joining our community is very simple. You can learn so many things on YouTube, you can watch so many videos, but the benefit you get here is that you're able to see my exact ABCD trading model, and most importantly, how I've developed it, so that at the end of the day as a trader, you can also get to a point where you can build your own edge over time in the markets. Remember, for you to be a successful trader over time, you need to get to a point of independence where you can do everything on your own and you understand exactly what you're looking for in the market. More details about our community will be in the video description. So let's head into our stats. We start with April, where I did about a 2%, only 2 setups for the whole month, 1 loss and 1 profit. We head to May, where I did about a 6%. The performance now increased. We did have 2 winners and 1 break even, no stop loss in the month of May. Then we head to June, which was now our biggest month of the year so far. At the same time, it is the month that I did about 2 mistakes, as you'll be seeing here. So in June, based on my system, I'm supposed to have at least 4 take profits and 0 stop loss. So this is how my system performance looks like in June. I'm supposed to have done about a 12%, assuming I took every trade correctly, respecting my entry models. Also in June, the system did not have a stop loss. So for the month of June, May and April, my system only had 1 loss, which was on AUD card, and that's quite impressive considering in the first quarter I think we did have 4 losers, but in the second quarter we've only taken 1 loss. That's not something that even I could have predicted, and it goes to show you how in trading every month will not be the same, every quarter, every year will not be the same. So you might come from a quarter where you did have an average performance and you move to a quarter where you have significantly higher performance. So it just depends, and you really can't tell these things before they happen. So as a trader, your role is just to make sure you stick to your plan, you follow your system, and you let the probabilities play out. And by the way, I hardly delete my setups in my trading view, so I think I can just show you quickly and anyone can go back again to try and confirm the setup. So this is my setup on June, CAD JPY profit trade on 11th. If I scroll back faster, you will see we did have more setups here. Another one is on 13th May and another one is on 8th May. Same thing with USD JPY, which is my latest addition to my watch list. The system has done about 3 winners in the month of June, and June is the first month that I've incorporated USD. It gave me 1, 2, 3, 4 setups. 3 of them mid profit, 1 of them mid break even. These are the setups in the market. The latest one was on 28th. We did have one on 18th. And the first setup was on 11th. In one of my recent videos, I did a breakdown of this bullish setup on USD JPY. That should be this video here. Now, one of the 2 mistakes I did was on CAD JPY, there's a setup which was eventually invalidated, meaning I did have a potential entry and I set my pending order. And I was waiting for the market to come and trigger my pending order. But as I was waiting, some things happened which invalidated that setup. So I was supposed to go and delete my order, which I forgot. So I went about my day forgetting thing that I didn't delete my pending order on my MT5. And eventually when I opened my MT5, I just realized that I already have an extra 1% loss, simply because I had set a pending order which I forgot to delete, even though my entry criteria had already been invalidated. So that is a mistake which I really can't blame anyone, and it costed me a 1% loss in the month of June. So in as much as my system did 12% for the month of June, myself, I took an extra loss over 1%. So from 12% now, we are down to 11% for my personal results. So I'm sharing this with you because I need you to understand that even as a professional trader, it is still possible for you to do mistakes. Don't assume that you'll get to a point in trading where you are so accurate until you are immune to mistakes. Personally, in the first quarter, I did not do a single mistake in my execution, and that was perfect. However, in the second quarter, there's a mistake I did here, and this is one of those mistakes where I just forgot to delete a pending order. So I didn't do it on purpose, but at the end of the day, it has already affected my trading performance. Now, as if that's not enough, just last week on 27th June on USD JPY, my system gave me a trade. So I had 2 trades on USD JPY on 27th. Now the first trade was a break even. As you can see, I even took the trade very well on my account, and from my entry the trade went about 22 pips. So anything from 20 pips I put my stop loss at break even. So when the trade came back down, it's closed at break even, and this was about 3 p.m. Now the mistake that I did is very simple. So Thursday is usually my last trading day of the week, because I know after Thursday I don't trade on Friday until the following week. So I assumed because it's Thursday and it's already 3 p.m. and my trade has already closed at break even, I have no other business in the market. So I closed my charts and I went about my day. And immediately I closed my charts, I came back later to just realize USD JPY gave me a re-entry just after hitting my break even. It gave me a perfect re-entry that was respecting everything in my plan. It came back, retested my neckline, and it went perfectly and hit my setup. So by the time I was coming to realize the entry has happened, it was somewhere about here 6 or 7 p.m. and the market had already bought with over 60 to 70% heading to my target. So I could not jump in on that trade here because that doesn't respect my trading system. So if you come here, you'll come and see that on 27th June, after hitting the break even, which I took, I did have a profitable trade, but unfortunately I didn't get it. This one I can literally blame myself, because with the first one where I forgot, that was genuinely me forgetting. But with this second one, it is me who just assumed that the day has ended, but yet according to my system, I don't close my trading day by 3 p.m. and my assumption did cost me by missing that trade, which eventually did a 3%. So from 11% now I'm back to about 8%. So the summary is what my system actually did, but the actual for the month of June is what I reflected in my trading account. So in my trading account, I only reflected 3 take profits, giving me a 9% and 1 stop loss. So I eventually closed at an 8%. However, I was supposed to do a 12%. Now, truly speaking, if I look at my performance, 8% is still a very huge month. In fact, if you compare to the rest of the months, I did 6 and 2%. So 8% is still my biggest month. However, this extra 4% that I've lost has created a very significant difference. And I want to show you how in terms of even monetary gain. So if I can just start with this last trade on 27th June, that trade alone on my 2 accounts on Funded Next, risking $1,000, that trade alone has costed me about $3,000, which I left on the table just because of a simple mistake in the market. So yes, I've had a profitable month, but what I'm saying is it could have been better. The same 3% if you add to this one, giving you 4%. Currently, I'm taking a $200,000 on my Alpha Capital, and that account is up 5%. This trade could have been enough for me to pass the 200k, and now I could have been in phase 2. Now, as we speak, I'm still in phase 1 in that account, and now I have to push that challenge to the next month, which is this one of July. While if I had taken this trade, I could have passed phase 1 of my 200k, and I could have been starting July just heading to phase 2. The only unfortunate thing in the market is once you do a mistake, you cannot recover. You can't go back in time and get a trade that you already missed. What you can only do is try to be more cautious and more keen in your next trades to make sure you're not repeating mistakes that can cost you significantly in the market. So for me, I'm still happy because I still had a nice quarter. In as much as my system has reflected about 20%, my actual results will have to be 20% minus this 4%. So for my own actual results, I've reflected just about a 16%, which is still way higher than what I reflected in quarter 1 at 14%. So either way, I can't complain much. It's just that it usually really sucks in the market whenever you do such mistakes because, as I've said, you can't recover. And now you have to push your challenge the whole next month. Another reason why you want to avoid making mistakes in trading is very simple. Sometimes you never know. This 12% might have been the biggest month of the year. One thing that I always say is you don't know how your next month will be. So you want to capitalize on every month so that when you find a big month, you make the most out of it because you never know what your next next month will look like. Let's say I start my month of July with a 2-trade losing streak. Those 2 losses could have been catered for just by this 1 trade that I've missed, because in every trade I'm doing a 1:3, meaning every trade can cater for up to 3 losses before I go back to break even. So you see how just doing one mistake in trading, just missing that 1 trade, you see how it can significantly affect your performance, especially if you are trading professionally and you're doing this for a living. So trading will require you to be very alert and be very conscious. You can have a nice performance for 2 months and you come and ruin it within just the last month. So you have to take your trading with the same level of seriousness as you would in any other job, any other career, or any other business that you are running. So as a trader, you are running a business and you are the owner of the business, and the business is solely dependent on you and the decisions that you make. Any mistake you make will directly be reflected on your profit and loss curve and will eventually affect your income. So now heading on to my summary of the second quarter, you can see for the whole quarter my system only gave me 10 trades. 7 trades were winners. We only had 1 loss. We had 2 break-evens, a win rate of about 88% and 20% gain, assuming I didn't do a single mistake in my trading. Of the 7 winners, you can see 4 winners were from CAD JPY, 3 winners were from USD JPY. And here the number of pips that I gained for every month and accumulative. A key takeaway from my performance summary is very simple. You don't need many trades to be profitable. I keep telling you that. As long as you have a system that can do for you 3, 4, 5% averagely, consistently, you're going to outperform many traders in the long run. For a whole 3 months, I've only taken 10 trades, which is an average of about 3 trades a month. And with that, I've still been able to gain about 20%. I keep telling you guys, trading is just a function of capital. And that's why right now I told you my target is to hit $1 million in funding, maybe in the next few months, depending with how long it's going to take me. So if you think of 20% of $1 million in a quarter, that is a lot of money. Think of 20% in a $200,000, $300,000. That is way significant income than the average individual anywhere across the world. So once you have a system that has an edge in the market, your focus is just to build the capital and repeat the same formula. So don't overcomplicate your trading, and most importantly, never think that making a lot of money in trading has got any relationship to taking many trades. You can find a trader who has been taking the same 10 trades every week, or even let's say taking 10 trades every 2 weeks, but they've still finished their quarter in a negative, while another trader has only taken 10 trades for a whole 3-month period and they've done a 20% gain. So making money in trading has got no relationship to taking many setups. It's only about taking quality setups, or as I always call them, high probability trades. And of course, these will test your patience, because for you to only take 10 trades for a 3-month period, and you've seen there are months such as May or April where I've only taken 2 setups for the whole month, it means for the whole month I'm just watching the markets and I'm not doing anything. I'm not taking any action. I'm not executing any setup. So of course, you have to develop your psychology for you to get to a point where you can be that patient. But also, you cannot be patient unless you have confidence in your system. The only reason I have this confidence to be that patient and not have a hurry is because I know primarily I have a working model. I know the approach I'm using in the market is profitable. So for me, it's not a question of whether I'll make money or not. It's just a question of when will I find my next setup? And most importantly, I want to execute it as accurately as possible. Whether it is profit or loss, it's none of my concern. What matters is that I'm following my plan, and at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, I am very convinced that I'll have a positive performance. If you have this level of confidence, you'll start to understand that some things like psychology will not be discussions that you'll even be having, because you are very sure about the model you're using in the market. So maybe another important thing to note, in my second quarter, as you can see, AUD CAD finished the whole quarter in a negative. So I didn't make any money on AUD CAD as compared to the first quarter where AUD CAD did, I think, about 6 minus 3 is about a 3% gain. So it has been the poorest performing pair so far this year, and even in the second quarter it has finished at a complete negative. But at least a negative 1% is still not very bad in my own opinion. The other pairs came in to balance that out very, very well. And that's where the importance of having several pairs come in. So if you're just trading one pair for the whole quarter and then it finishes at a negative, you're going to regret. But having more than one pair assists you such that you can balance out. Exactly the reason as to why in my most recent month, I decided to include USD JPY. So maybe I'll just wait to see how USD JPY incorporation will now perform long term in the next 3 months of quarter 3. One thing with my system based on my data is that I have seen that the first first 3 quarters are usually the best quarters, and as you get to the fourth quarter, I always see my performance starting to go very, very low. So I don't know if this year will be the same, but at least for quarter 3, I'm still expecting a significant performance, of course depending with how the markets will behave. So that has been the summary of my second quarter performance. I hope you guys learned something from these videos and they help you to see what professional trading actually looks like. And that's it. Now I'll just be more patient, wait what quarter 3 has in store for me, and as usual I'll do my best to keep you guys updated. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.